Today we are going to talk about backdrops and how I use the backdrops with the floors to blend them. So in the last video you asked about how I tucked the floor underneath or how I blended the floors together. So I'm going to show you that today. So my name is Arica Kirby. I am a designer here at Kate Backdrop. I'm also a studio owner at Kirby Photography, and I am a photographer coach at the Photographer CEO. So let's take a look at how we're doing this. First, if you missed the video, I have a backdrop stand that I've actually fashioned out of some different hardware from the hardware store, using hooks that of course have to be attached to a stud in the wall to be safe, and then piping and fittings on the end in order to make a very high and very fancy backdrop stand that attaches to the wall. So that is how I did that. Somebody asked how I attach the bottoms. So one of the things I do, you can see here, I actually have tacks at the bottom to stretch it out, because it is really important that you have your backdrop stretched tight so you don't have any wrinkles to be editing out in Photoshop afterwards, or simply just to lower the quality of your image. So that's one of the things I do. Before I show you what I did with the flooring itself, I'm just going to show you like this particular image. If I was using this backdrop, I actually would not edit or put any stuff in front of it. The beauty of this backdrop is that the kids can't touch any of the things, but they look beautiful in the photos. So it gives you great dimension and beauty without having to have stuff. If you're somebody that really wants to add stuff, you could. I use the same greenery over and over in my designs. I have a few different greeneries that I use the most, making it as easy as possible for you to be able to just have a few items in your studio to be able to utilize with the backdrops. So you could completely put, these down in here to blend some different looks. But like I said, I will show you the image I just shot of a baby carriage in front of it, so you can see that you really don't need it with this particular design. So before I show you some examples of how I would edit it if it bothered me in Photoshop, along with another backdrop design that we have that has a white floor and white wall, I just wanted to show you, if I pull the tacks out, I have just literally hooked it underneath. I know sometimes I see comments of people saying, but there's branding on the backdrop, the Kate logo, but that really doesn't matter because you should have that hidden anyway in your photo. So it's a great way to blend. This particular floor is a Lowe's panel, or I think I got mine at Menards, but wherever you live, that's what this is. It's just a hardware store panel. So let's go take a look at Photoshop and take a look at ways we can blend the floor with the backdrop to make your images look flawless.
With a couple simple edits blending backdrops. But before I do that, I want to make sure we're all on the same page with what tools I'm using here. So the tools I'm going to use in this video are very simple. I'm going to use the cloning stamp tool. So if you haven't used that before, I'm just going to give you a very quick intro to it. So I am using my Mac right now. So to clone a subject, I'm just doing this to show you, so this is not intended to be a finished image when I'm done. I'm going to clone this flower. So we're going to use the option button on the Mac and click on the flower. We're going to come down here and we're just going to place the flower by clicking and dragging. I have my preview set, so whatever I have cloned, we'll clone another flower. Whatever I have cloned, I will be able to see as I'm going. So that's the clone stamp tool. That is what I'm going to show you that I'm using. You can adjust the opacity. So if we turn this down and we're to do the same thing again, we're down to 33% opacity. You'll see, right, that we don't see much of it and it takes more to go back over. Super simple. I just wanted to show you that because I have never done editing videos for anyone before, and so I realized that I can't assume everyone is on the same page. So with that being shown, let's take a look at the blending edit. We are going to switch over to the second image, which is an image with of the same backdrop with a subject. So here I just wanted to show you, again, you really can't see any of that except right over here where there was a problem with how it was hooked tight. And I left it that way when we did the video because I wanted you to see how simple of a fix that was, but also how important it was just to get your backdrop tight to start with, because I certainly wouldn't want to go through and edit 30 images with that as a flaw. So definitely want to get it right the first time, but in the event that something happens, a child touches the backdrop or something and it moves, again, just cloning out would be a really quick fix, right? And once again, the backdrop here is not all the way to the edge. So for simplicity here, we would just crop and be done. So super simple. I wouldn't bother blending any of that with any props or anything. This backdrop just works just like it is. So I wanted you to see that. Now let's go take a look at another drop. The purple butterflies here, straight out of the camera. And as you can see, I used the panel, the Lowe's panel flooring, which was actually what I used when I originally designed the set. It's almost impossible the way that it is right now to even tell that there is a separate backdrop, but you can see that I cut out a little bit, and there's a little ripple you might notice here in the backdrop that I want to show you a quick fix for, and then here even a little bit of blending. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom way in. Okay, so right here, right, there's a little bit of an oddness. So a simple fix would be to use the clone tool and to come in and just blend out those little bit of parts there that don't quite match. You might want to change your opacity to get a better blend. I am just gonna quick go through this side, take a peek at the other side. I'm going to leave that thumbtack there because I'm actually just going to crop it out. Same thing over here. We're just going to do a soft little blend just to get that one odd piece out. Nothing crazy. I don't really think that you need much myself, but just for the sake of it, right? Now with if you had a subject in front of it, which I'm about to show you in a second, it would be entirely different too. Here we're just going to clone out that little ripple, that little bit of a shadow that distracted the eye in the original. And if we just crop out, we'll go ahead and use this ratio that's currently on, but actually no, we're not. We'll go back to the original ratio, and I'm just going to pull it in a little bit. Okay, so there we go. Super simple. You can't hardly tell where the floor and the backdrop begin and end. So super awesome. Once again, do a floor blend using a different backdrop where we have a white floor and a white backdrop. Just wanting to show you a simple, quick edit. The baby has not been edited, so he's still got some stuff going on. But so we're going to grab the clone tool again. We are going to pick our location using our Alt or the Option key on a Mac, and then we are going to keep a low opacity so the blend is a little bit more seamless. And just careful not to get it onto your, you don't want any spill onto your basket. Okay, so that side looks good. The other side, we're going to come in, do the same thing, being careful not to alter his sweet little baby fuzzies we've got going on. And we are just blending out that floor just a little bit so there's no line showing anymore in your image. So there we have a super simple floor edit. A lot of people I know will comment that they don't love it when there's a floor in the backdrop, and I want you to see how I use mine so you can see that you don't have to be afraid of there being a floor in your backdrop. That's the beauty of the backdrops with all the props. You're going to have a little bit of the floor. So finding ways to blend them seamlessly is awesome and key. So there we go. Let's take a look at another one. I wanted to show you how we used the props here to blend the backdrop. Had I have been shooting it with that intention, I would have just simply shot it in a tighter, zoomed in version. That would not show you that this was actually shot with those props and not in front of the real set. So I wanted to show you how that would look through the camera if I had shot it that way. So we're going to use the crop tool to create this. You can see the Spanish moss is blending the backdrop, so you don't have to do any editing with that. Over here, we could have pulled that out maybe a little bit farther on both sides to give us a little wider shot without having to edit. Certainly something you could do. The Spanish moss is something that is available at Hobby Lobby. I do like to use a lot of the same greeneries for you, so that way blending different backdrops becomes a little bit more simplified. I try to make it so you don't have to add a whole bunch of props. The idea is that the backdrop has the props for you. You can keep it super simple and keep it all about your subject. So we're going to go ahead and crop that in. And little bonus image for today, bonus edit, we're going to pull in a butterfly. So I'm just dragging and dropping this butterfly. I had her look down for that purpose. I'm not going to show you how to mask that in today, but I wanted you to see the fun we had with that. Definitely would need still some finessing for that to look realistic and accurate. But you can see here how the backdrop is so realistic and almost impossible to tell that it is a backdrop and not the live set. So very, very fun. I hope you have enjoyed my first attempt at creating a tutorial for you and that you have found it helpful. Please leave some comments below so I know what you thought of how it went. If I went too quickly, if you'd like to see something else a little bit different, feel free to message me so I can help you grow through your photography business. And in the meantime, I am Arica Kirby, designer here at Cape Backdrop, photographic artist at Kirby Photography, and founder and business coach at the Photographer CEO. Thanks for watching. Go out and create something beautiful in the world today and spread some joy.